Hi. Right, last 4 pages. Where with many of the big pieces, Chopin, as with many composers, ends with a big bang. This is where the most complex stuff is. That's where he takes all the themes from before, he weaves them into an extra kind of, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's the most exciting part of the piece, really. And I think most of the big pieces that you've heard, like the Chopin Ballade, the one that I posted a clip of a couple of days ago, which I played from a year ago, this last bit's where the most technical parts come. So bear with the mistakes as I go through this. And I want you to pay attention to how he builds up the tension and how he resolves it in the climax. And I'll stop after I play as I go along to point out some really lovely bits, okay? So we were here. One of my most favorite parts of this whole piece, okay? You would have heard the repetition of the material from the Presto con Fuoco bit where so far so the same, but he goes from this part, okay? That G. So what you hear is built up the tension from there. So just listen out to that again. And this whole part, the word for me is menacing. You hear this menacing rumble of repeated thirds and fifths and sixths, which is a bitch to play. How's that for a build up? So he turns this 2-bar double trill at FF. All your right hand's going after all these bloody doubles. That's where obviously the lack of stamina comes into play here for me. Not being able to articulate that very clearly, but it goes. This chord then gets resolved a little. And it stays like that while then it changes. And you're supposed to do that crescendo. So this part is called agitato, agitated. I feel very agitated when I play it. Not the right kind of agitated. Control agitated, not uncontrolled agitated. But this is the last. These are two of the greatest pages of piano music that I've had the chance to play so far. And there are all kinds of super interesting things going on in it. So you've got the tension, right? And you've got the thumb, and you think because it goes, and it gives you just that little note to as a sort of a launch pad for all the rest of the stuff that comes on. So I'm going to play it super slowly, okay, so you can hear what's actually going on. Okay, so here you've got this melody going on. Which is the main melody, and it gets repeated an octave higher. And then goes this wonderful. So what's actually happening here? I'm going to play it with two hands so you hear where the actual melody is coming from. Can you hear it? Oops. So it's just unraveling. Now this is actually a tenth. It's an octave plus two more notes. Chopin doesn't usually give you very bad stretches. That's one of the rare ones. Other players like Debussy and Liszt give you a lot more, but Chopin is generally quite generous, except he gives you this right now to play. Even something as simple as this, you can hear how nicely the left and the right go together. That's really low. D. That's just 4 more notes down to the bottom. So he brings the whole thing down. Oops. These amazing chords which don't sound like they make much sense in the beginning when you're playing them slowly, as I did when I was learning the notes for the piece. And of course, if you listen to one of the greats, which I'll post, like Pollini or Algerich or Kissin, playing this part, it sounds completely different obviously when you play it fast, but what I found was unusual about playing this part was when you piece it together, it just doesn't sound like it makes very much sense at all, right? You listen to this. Oops. Oops. It's not discordant, nor is it harmonious, and it changes. This is my favorite one. Listen to the right hand and how he resolves it from discordance, and then suddenly this melody comes up. See? And all of that at super high speed, mind you, so I mean obviously I can't play it that fast, but it's supposed to go something like this, okay? Let's see. earth-shattering a chord as possible. It's like he takes all the fingers and crams in all the discordance that he could possibly cram in. Goodness me. So that he can give you the return to home. That's it. Thanks for listening. I will try when I can to practice some more and to get a playthrough of it without any of these annoying comments of mine. But hopefully now that I've had this chance to pick it apart for you, you will get to listen to it whenever I play it, or when you listen to one of the maestri that I will post a clip of, that you will get to understand a little bit more of the craft that goes inside this that I enjoy so much.